frivolous things such as soda, that means they'll be able to spend their dollars on something else and thereby spur the economy, shows that would be better ahead not to give them the money for soda in the first place. If they you can't have it both ways. If your argument's going to be, well, the real way that this affects the economy is by giving them money for soda and things like this, then they're capable to go out and maybe buy a new car, or they're going to buy CDs or DVD players or computer games or something, and that spurs the economy in this way, is laughable. Instead, we should allow the people that are being productive to purchase the things that are more necessities for them, which means that they'll spend things that are beneficial for society. And these people wouldn't need that spending if they're able to fungibly go spend it on other things. Instead of buying CDs, DVD players, video games, they could use the money that was being spent by our tax dollars on soda in order for them to purchase.
Thank you very much, Keith, for the $2. Thank you very much for your generosity today, brother. I got to bounce, brother. Best of luck. Keep it up. Thank you very much, Keith, and thank you for your support. It's much appreciated. Yeah, everything about these guys is about the GDP.
Their own soda. The last thing I'll say is, you keep saying, well, the metrics show that this doesn't cause them to make better choices. Then that's on them. I think that if we did this over a long enough time, these people, especially if we limited it to these products not being able to do things that in the past studies you're talking about did, like allow them to buy sugary beverages like fruit juice, but instead limit it like we do with WIC, milk, bread, cheese, meats, beans, rice. If we limit to those sorts of things, they won't have the option to go out and be unhealthy except for their own dollars. And that means that if they then choose with their own dollars to buy these sugary treats, they didn't need the money in the first place.
We're going to go and give First Amender about 2.5 minutes as well. That's about what we're breaking down to.
So unfortunately, you're wrong, just completely. I have to share my screen. You don't know what you're talking about, unfortunately.
First Amender always relies on his studies, and he always like appeals to like authority, like the authority figures. It's always the studies, always, always, always. Never on common sense. It's almost like this guy doesn't have a brain of his own.
Definitely. I'd like to say that you did know what you're talking about, but you've done zero research on this. It's clear to me. I'm going to provide the paper right here. Give me a second while I provide it on my stream as well. I need to do so. Sorry, just give me a moment. I appreciate your patience. Can you see what I'm looking at here?
Yes.
Okay, so to assess the benefits of early childhood access to food stamps relative to the cost of the program.
Like if they personally attack me during the debate, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see when they get there. I guess we'll have to see. We'll just have to see.
The team followed a framework that calculates what is called the marginal value of public funds. So you didn't like GDP, fine, doesn't matter. We can pull up the marginal value of public funds. The MVPF is the ratio of benefit of the policy to its.
Oh yeah, I'll be showing that CP Captain RB. Yeah, the breakfast question. Yeah, that was glorious. I will be showing that.
Recipients of the net cost to the government. The researchers found that the MVPF of childhood food stamps program is approximately 56, which means that the program ultimately offsets the government's upfront costs. When analyzing the individual,
I wonder if First Amender read all about the rat uterus in order to help him through this debate for the SNAP benefits. Yeah, but look, if I studied the rat uterus, look, it's in this book that I read. Look, here's the diagram and everything. Okay, what does that have to do with SNAP benefit reforms? It doesn't. I just love talking about the rat uterus.
Components of the Economic Self-Sufficiency Index, we find that childhood exposure to food stamps reduces the likelihood that individuals receive income from public programs as adults, says co-author Hilary Hoynes, professor of public policy and economics at the University of California, Berkeley. This implies that the social safety net for families with young children may, in part, pay for itself by reducing reliance on government support in the long term. Bailey Hoyes, co-authors of Stanford University and the University of California, Berkeley, and the results appear as a working paper in the National Bureau of Economic Research. So we know it's a net benefit. We know this for a fact.
Okay, unfortunately for you, nothing that was said there disputes any of the significant reforms that I'm suggesting making. None of those studies would entail stopping sending money for things like sugary beverages. By the way, most studies will also show you that when children are consuming things like potato chips, soda, and I remind you, soda is the #1 item that is purchased on food stamps. In fact, food stamps households are more likely to purchase junk food and soda than households that aren't on food stamps, which is sort of counterintuitive. You would assume if they're so desperate and looking for a positive nutrition that they would actually be spending it on these staples. By eliminating the ability to spend on those things, this isn't eliminating children's ability to get access to healthy food. Quite to the contrary. Intuitively, we would see that if they're getting healthier foods through food stamps, that they would actually be even more less likely in the future to end up on the very government programs that you're suggesting. For example, we could see access to soda, according to the data that I was showing, increases your likelihood to have diabetes by about 1/3. This is also true of children that are more likely to not only have childhood diabetes, which is a growing problem in this country, particularly.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty good idea if they could figure out a way to do that. I think that would work. I wonder what these lefties would say. That they'd be like, no, no, the fat obese black women also need their freaking snaps.
With people on the poor end of the scale that get SNAP benefits, but also their chances of developing diabetes when they get into adulthood. So what you've done is cite a study based on a significant reform that I'm not suggesting. The reform that I'm talking about at this point is we should limit the purchases to things such as staples, such as the food groups that scientists agree are the things that would be best, not just for adults, but for children. Can you explain to me why these studies would entail, why it would be a bad thing for children to be drinking things such as milk, water, flavored water, and things like that instead of soda?
Yeah, so the effort to improve the health by limiting access to unhealthy foods, it sounds intuitive and it seems like it works. But when we attempt doing this, we find out that they don't actually change their behavior. They still end up purchasing unhealthy foods. The problem is that when you are
That becomes like his whole argument. It's like, well, it doesn't change anything. They still purchase unhealthy foods. Like, if our argument is like, he really thinks, like, even in the COPE afterward, he really thinks Rob's whole deal is that we don't want poor people eating unhealthy foods. And it's like, no, we don't give a shit what kind of food they eat. It's whether or not it should be at the taxpayer's dime. That's the whole point. If they earn their own money and buy potato chips and soda and shit, that's on them. But if it's at the taxpayer dollar, that's what we have an issue with.
poor, you often end up choosing unhealthy things. This is just a factor of poor socioeconomic conditions. Now, as to what you can do about that, well, I mean, number one, just like from a basis, I don't think that like poor people should be prevented from having access to, say, unhealthy foods, just as like somebody who's middle or upper class would consume unhealthy things. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you, Rob. You don't look like you follow your own advice.
Well, you look like
See, this is where he starts it.
a virgin. So, I don't know how much advice we
So Rob says, you look like a virgin, which he does. However,
should take from
Oh, I'm
someone
not a
soy like
virgin.
you.
I'm
The
not a
idea,
virgin.
All right,
the
well,
The
take
idea,
point that
over.
I'm trying
I
to
what I would tell First Amender if he said, well, I'm not a virgin, I would have said, hey, your anus doesn't count.
take with
right?
you is that
hold on.
you make
Okay.
an argument
Unless
that
you're
the
unless
poor,
you're
that the poor should not be having these unhealthy foods, but you don't seem to follow that advice.
okay.
I
Now
thank
we're
you
gonna
very
take
much for that. I don't think I'm following the advice of you should have to pay for my poor decisions. You're absolutely right. You're very intuitively pointing out that I could actually lose some weight. Now, might I suggest to you that you look like someone who could use some advice when you're suggesting that other people haven't researched this, that perhaps you should think twice before saying that and getting embarrassed in a debate, as will happen tonight. By the way, you've already conceded the prompt within the first 5 minutes in your opening statement. Nonetheless, me making bad choices on my own is an absolute choice that every American should have the right to make. Yes, including people on food stamps
Okay,
absolutely
so
should have
people
access.
who are on
Please,
hold
food
on. I
please
stamps
be
do need
make
to
quiet.
let
those
Rob
choices.
finish. I need to let Rob finish.
People that are on food stamps absolutely have the right to soda. They may purchase it with their own money. They are not entitled for me to purchase that for them any more than they should be able to use their food stamps to buy alcohol, to buy cigarettes, or any other things. Soda is empty calories. We already have a program in place that provides, particularly for children, these healthy food choices. You have not answered why having access to healthier food choices would make things worse. All you've said is, well, the studies show that when we tried that, they still made poor choices. One, unfortunately for you, most of those studies only limited it small amounts of things like soda specifically. I'm suggesting that we would limit high sugary beverages, snack food, junk food, etc., and basically go to the same sort of supplemental nutrition that's giving through the WIC benefits. People don't abuse those benefits to get soda because they can't. And we already can, through SNAP benefits, limit the type of products that people can get. For example, try to buy a hot food item with SNAP benefits at a place like a grocery store. You can't do it because there are limits on the pricing codes of what could be purchased. This would be easier and easier to do as we become more technologically advanced. There's no evidence that the data you're suggesting either one entails that we go back to a WIC-centered program where you can only get those staples and people make bad decisions. Second, why this would be worse off for children, and the very study you cite that says that this would be a net benefit by limit them in other government programs wouldn't even be better if we're not having them have access to sugary beverages. And third, you can't get around this. If these people, if we limit their ability to buy soda by saying that they can't do it for food stamps, then have extra money that they're then able as a choice to purchase soda, that would entail that they do not need the money that we're sending them, at least not entirely. If they have extra money to buy soda, why should they be entitled more than someone who's out there working hard, who can't afford to buy the soda, but whose tax dollars has to go for someone for these extravagant expenses like
We'll
this?
give it to 2 minutes for First Amender as well. A little bit over that, 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
So number
Yeah, he really does. He does look like a puppet that someone. Do you say a puppet or a Muppet? Yeah, he does look like a Muppet that someone turned into a real boy. He really does.
one, like your argument by having the restrictions is all you're basically creating is an additional stigma at effectively little to no benefit. That's number one. And then number two,
Yeah, the thing, it's so weird because this principle that First Amender is at least pretending not to understand is that if the government is funding your lifestyle, they have the right to tell you what to use that money on. It's just basic common sense. It goes with anything. You know, if I loan someone money and then they're like, hey, give me $100 and I could buy food for my family, and then I go, okay, here you go. And then they go and they buy something else with it. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I have every right to be like, hey, why are you spending that with your money? I thought you needed food for your family. Oh, yeah, no, but trust me, I'm going to do that. Just give me another month or something. Like, I have every right to be like, hey, what are you doing with this money I'm giving you? Same thing with the government. How is that any different? How come these liberals always pretend to not understand shit like this?
is that you weasel the way out of this, and I just want to make sure that empirically speaking, you wanted to pull back on SNAP benefits overall, except we can empirically show that for every
Yeah, Brondo. Yeah. My rats need Brondo. It really helps with their anuses and their uteruses. It helps with their uteruses, I should say. Brondo. Because the electrolytes, from what I've read in my rat uterus book, is that it really helps with the uterus.
dollar that's put into SNAP benefits, there is a net gain in the economy, including for the individuals receiving SNAP. In fact, their need for funding in the future is lessened significantly. So what you're saying is the exact opposite actually happens. So I just want to be clear, right? We are aware that SNAP benefits offers a net boon. Would you agree with that?
No, that's not what we're aware of.
No.
What I'm
Empirically,
suggesting
that's
is-
not the fact.
what I'm
You're just
suggest-
going against reality at this point.
Okay, you asked me a question, I'll respond. What I'm
Yeah,
suggesting
you said
is,
no, but it's
I do
wrong.
have
Like
to-
it's just wrong.
We got it. We have to give him a chance to respond. though.
Dude.
We can.
What I'm
if you want-
No, I did give him the chance to respond.
See, he's already spurging out. No, but he's just wrong. He's just wrong. He's wrong, and I say so, okay? My rat uterus book told me so, that he's wrong.
And it was just a simple yes or no question. And obviously, that's empirically you're incorrect about that. And secondly,
I'm not.
you're increasing administrative costs by having restrictions, and you're only increasing stigma. At the end of the day, these people end up getting unhealthy food one way or another. Why? Because it's tasty, and we're kind of like ape creatures that like these things. That's what happens. People do these things. They're going to find ways around the system in order to purchase unhealthy foods. There's also, it's very
Find ways around the system, like not using your SNAP benefits and actually using the money you earn. Yeah, that's a way around the system. But I like how he says things like as if we don't know that. Yes, obviously, humans are going to engage in bad behavior. Oh, shocker. Shocker.
difficult to determine what is an unhealthy food versus a healthy food. Is a juice an unhealthy food? I don't know. It's kind of got a lot of sugar in it. And to be honest, it's really not that much like nutritional benefit Outside of, I don't know, if you're having orange juice, it would be like an additional vitamin C, but it has just as much sugar as say as say a soda. So it's not like that there's like this giant benefit that is garnered. And then what would you say? Is orange juice an unhealthy? Is that unhealthy to you?
Can I answer without you interrupting as soon as I answer?
It's just a simple yes or no.
I refuse to answer a simple yes or no until I have an affirmative for you that when I answer, you're not going to immediately interrupt me after I answer.
don't know why you got to make this into like a weird blood
That
sports
was
thing.
your 2
It's just a simple yes or no.
Okay, so again,
Rob, 2 minutes and 15 minutes as well.
The misnomer
Wanting to add like clarification, like context after your yes or no question, a caveat, if you will, that's blood sports to First Amender now.
for what's saying here is he keeps going back to a study, which, by the way, he's not going to be familiar with the methodology. Now, I've looked at these studies in the past, and what it's going to show is when people have proper nutrition, which is oftentimes necessary through things like supplemental nutrition programs, they're less likely to need other programs when they get older. This is because their health outcomes would be better. This intuitively makes sense. If you're a child and you're malnourished because you don't have food, because your family is poor, something to that effect, if you have government assistance so you could get actual staples, you're less likely to be on welfare programs when you get older. And that's probably intuitively true. The reason I answered no to that specific question is because the supplemental nutrition program as it's set up today may not necessarily be a net benefit in that, particularly when we're talking about the actual significant reforms that I'm suggesting. These reforms would make sure that the program went through like WIC. The reason that you're less likely to be on these other programs when you get older is because of the health benefits. And there's no reason that if we take away the negative benefits or the negative impacts of something like soda or these other high sugary beverages that you're talking about, that their outcomes wouldn't be even better. You just keep saying, no, it increases the economy. It doesn't, and it doesn't increase GDP, or rather it does, but in the same way that all government spending does, which we should ignore because it's silly. You haven't contested with the fact that study after study show that when individuals keep their money, it leads to more efficient, less fraud, and better spending overall. For example, you haven't contended with my opening statement that said in 2023, 11% of the money went out in air. So overpayments 11%, which is a huge amount, billions of dollars that were wasted. In addition to that, we see money that's spent in fraud, billions of dollars over the lifetime of SNAP that's occurred. Suggesting that that's an efficient use of money because we're paying people to have sort of sugary beverage is laughable. It's not hard to determine what's healthy and what's not, in the sense that we already have a program that could be used as the model. That's the WIC program. It would be easy to say through a government body saying, here are the things that we think are reasonably healthy: rice, bread, beans, cheese, meat, things of that nature, produce. That's simple. Fruit. The idea that it's like, well, no one would be able to decide goes back to the old trope of lefties pretending to not know anything, which makes civil dialogue sort of impossible. You know that soda's bad. I know that soda's bad. We can choose to do it ourselves. But to say that because that's difficult to find out, we can't limit to healthy foods is nonsensical.
First Amender, 2 minutes, 15.
I wanted to share my screen one more time. This is just, once again, he's just wrong about this.
Squints. He reminds you of Squints. Yeah, except I'm pretty sure First Amender has tried doing that, faking drowning in the pool to get the male lifeguard to give him mouth to mouth, though. You know, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. He's like, oh yeah, that male lifeguard's so hot, I'm going to pretend I'm drowning in the pool so he could give me mouth to mouth. Yeah.
Allow me to share my screen. Hang tight. Can you see that okay?
It's still loading. It'll be here in just a sec. If you haven't yet, folks, hit that like button. We appreciate your crystal clear, First Amender.
So this is from PBS. It's a relatively central source. In the past, Agriculture Department officials rejected waivers saying that a 2007 paper stated
maybe more like Peter Brady, you know, when he was going through the changes, you know, when he was going through puberty, and then he'd say, when it's time to change, you gotta rearrange. Maybe like that. Maybe Peter Brady.
that there is no clear standards exist to define foods as good or bad, or healthy or not healthy. In addition, the agency says that restrictions would be difficult to implement, complicated, and costly. They might not change recipients' food purchases or reduce conditions such as obesity. Anti-hunger advocates point to the research that shows that SNAP recipients are no more likely than any other low-income Americans to buy sugary drinks or snack foods, and that they are limiting food choices undermines the autonomy and dignity community of people who receive, on average, $187 a month, or about
Oh, yeah, First Amender is definitely the Oliver. Definitely the Oliver.
$6.16 a day, according to the latest figures. This is just another way to cut benefits, says Gina Platanino, a deputy director at the Food Research and Action Center, a nonprofit advocacy group. It's like, how do we restrict people more? How do we stigmatize them more? So I just want to be
What,
clear,
can I ask
right?
where
Like,
that was from?
This is PBS.
What
This
year?
is PBS.
What year?
February 19th, 2025.
Okay. Would we prefer
Anyway, so I
PBS
wanted to-
over
I-
the USDA?
I do want to
Just curious.
just in case First Amender has anything else,
Okay.
because you got about 45
so
seconds
like
left.
number one, you're empirically wrong about whether or not that it offers a net boon. We know it offers a net boon. There's numerous economic papers that show this, and you pick your metric, it's positive in no matter what metric you pick. The math doesn't lie. And then there's also the idea that you basically want to vilify people who are consuming unhealthy things under the presumption that that would make them magically healthier. But really, at the end of the day, is that
Yeah, so he's trying to conflate it like, oh, we're trying to make them healthier again or something. We're trying to make poor people healthier. No, they can eat whatever the fuck they want as long as they're paying for it. But when you're asking the government for money in terms of the guise of like, we're going to starve to death if we don't eat something, therefore, can you please help us? And so the government gives you money. And so it's under the assumption that you're going to get the things that you need, the necessities, bread, eggs, what have you, fruits, vegetables, something, just so that way your family could survive. Instead, these people that are on SNAP are taking it and buying potato chips, soda, things that arguably you don't need to survive. You don't need chips to survive. In fact, that's unhealthy. That's the whole point of this. If someone that's poor is earning their own money and buying their own potato chips and soda with it, that's a whole different story. We don't give a shit. But if it's the government, well, that's what we're arguing against.
it doesn't actually make them magically healthier. Obesity rates still maintain relatively the same. And all it does is basically just restrict poor people to things that you just kind of take for granted. And so I would.
Things that you take for granted. Oh, shut up, First Amender. Good to see you, Marte. Damn, this guy took two L's days apart in a week. I support this crash test dummy getting wrecked by us. I do too, Marte. By the way, I saw your rebuttal to the COPE stream earlier, that black COPE stream. It was pretty funny. It was good stuff, Marte. Can't believe those chodes try to insinuate that, oh, you're like Rachel's side piece or something. It shows that they absolutely got nothing. Later, Gorilla. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day. God bless. God bless you too, Gorilla. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, meat. Things that you actually need to survive. Like, yeah, that's fair game. That's what we're saying. If you're taking government money for it, taxpayer funded money that we're all paying for. Again, it's coming from us. It's coming from the taxpayers, So I think we should have a right to say, like, hey, what are you doing with that money that we're giving you? First Amender is pretending like he doesn't understand that.
Would just be against it because if it showed efficacy, I would probably be agreement with you, Robert. But that does not appear to be the case.
Time. Kick it over to Rob.
The problem is food stamps isn't just about the health of the people involved. It's also about the dollars that we're spending. And so saying, well, we shouldn't restrict their ability to get sugary beverages with the tax dollars that we're sending or junk food because they'll go out and spend their own money on it. And it would just be of stigma to them and their health wouldn't benefit. So there's no benefit. I disagree. The benefit would be cutting the cost of SNAP by roughly 20%. These people absolutely have the right to go out and purchase these products. And that would further limit the stigma that they would have. It wouldn't increase the stigma because they wouldn't have to purchase via their food stamp card. They would be able to purchase it with the cash that they obviously have, seeing as how you're saying every study suggests that these people go out and purchase these extra products anyways. You can't get around this. You can't say, one, oh my goodness, we need this so that people can be healthy or they're going to starve to death. And secondly, even if you take away the unhealthy options, they'll just go use their own money and spend it on unhealthy options. Starving people aren't buying soda instead of meat, cheese, breads, and things like that. You cite something that says, oh, there's no evidence shows that there's more people. The USDA, I could bring this up if you want, from 2023, I believe it was, says across all households, more money was spent in soft drinks than any other items. SNAP households spent more on soft drinks versus non-SNAP holds at 5 versus 4%. So you're fundamentally incorrect, your PBS data, when the actual government data shows actually SNAP recipients are more likely to buy sugary beverages. In addition to that, you said that it wouldn't be possible to have these sort of healthy food options. Here is the WIC participating categories: milk, cheese, yogurt, eggs, cereal, juice, fruits, vegetables, legumes, peanut butter, whole grains, canned fish, infant formula, fruits and veggies, meats. Why would it not be possible to limit to those sorts of things? Of course, there could be disputes on the fringe, exactly how many portions of meat should you have versus portions of vegetable. But we understand that these are healthier options than things like potato chips, soda. To say, well, because there could be debates on the fringe of how much meat or vegetables you should have means we can't decide whether or not soda is healthy or not, like meats, cheeses, etc., is nonsensical. What you can't get around is this. I'm not interested in the argument of this is a stigma. All of the benefits that talk about SNAP being important is talking about.
Yeah, no, I know, Benjamin. I covered that when I did the Marte First Amender debate. I covered his cope stream after, and yeah, that was pretty entertaining. That was premium top choice copium.
The ability for people to get nutritional
Yeah.
food. It's not talking about the ability to get soda.
All right, I'm gonna. So this is pretty much the debate. It goes back and forth. Again, First Amender's not getting it through his thick skull. That Rob Noerr's not trying to dictate what poor people eat. He's just saying that if you're going to be taking government money, that if you're going to be taking government money, that you shouldn't be buying it on these foods. That's all he's saying. But First Amender is pretending not to do that. So I'm going to skip ahead here to when it gets toward the end. Closer to the end, because that's when the ad hominem stuff comes in.
Economy. I just think that we need to modernize it, but these are like small changes as opposed to significant ones.
This one from Airborne Animal. So this one from Wilson Garcia says 250 is the amount of SNAP. PT Reed says sugar from soda is highly addictive. Sugar is in no way a productive food item unless you had a medical condition or a very high level athlete. FA clueless again.
I agree. It is not effective. And if there is a method to removing it and that it's efficacious, sure. But it turns out that it just increases administrative cost. And it also doesn't actually do the effect that people will make bad choices regardless of whether or not there's funding to do so.
Do you think that people would make that bad choice if they were?
He banned you from his chat after his second message. Why would it, or the mod? Why would you post? What did you do, Shindig listener? What did you do?
Starving to death?
This is a rebuttal question. I don't want to do these.
Okay.
Yes.
It's just because
I don't think they would starve to death and get soda instead. That's stupid.
This one from
soda's calories.
This one from Damien Guns a Blazing says time or spending limit healthy people should be on SNAP.
What?
I think they're saying like if someone's able-bodied, they're not disabled. Should we at least put a time limit or a spending limit on how long they're on the SNAP?
There already is time limits and
Yeah, no, I heard about that, Mushmouth Joe. I saw that part. I don't know if it gets to it here. I know it's like toward the end of the debate when it gets to the ad hom stuff, and that's where First Amender like reveals some of his lore. You know, actually, he just started off as a young child, and him and his brother and his mother left his father because his father had ADHD, and therefore they had to go on SNAP benefits. I heard all that stuff, to which gave Rob Noerr a lot of ammo.
spending limits on SNAP. I don't agree with certain time limits because I think it penalizes people who are in, say, the gig economy. I just think that we need to modernize it, but these are like small changes as opposed to significant ones.
This one from Airborne Animal says the data is from an APP that people use to track their actual SNAP benefits, parentheses, Propel. There is no maximum payout. Each family member above 7 is $729 a month. This one from 25 Carat Gold Lambo says, my parents are millionaires and are happily married and extremely responsible.
Yeah, he was too distracted. She had to leave him. Yeah, like how distracted could he be that she had to leave him? Like, I wonder if that was really the case. You know, it explains a lot. If First Amender was mostly raised by mother, that explains a lot.
So glad I didn't turn out like 1stAmender.
How's it going, EOD? Good to see you.
His dad's better off having walked out on him, and his mother loser. Wow. All right. This one from Pseudonym says, based on what Rob is saying.
All right, so they already covered that whole thing. So here, let me see if I could find that part.
Economic activity, because instead of buying food, now they could buy other things. Why would that principle not also exist to every other person, even if they don't need SNAP?
Then sure, but I don't.
What do you
see
mean
an
if it did?
indication
That's
of
your
that.
argument that it does.
If it
That's
does,
your
then
argument.
sure. No, it's not. It's not. I never argued that.
So wait a minute.
You're the one positing that argument as a straw man fallacy.
You're telling me
That's
now
what
that
you're doing right now.
You're telling me that you didn't say
Oh,
that the
Jesus
reason
Christ.
that economic
Can we move
activity
on?
is spurred
This guy's
is
just going to
because
repeat the same
I
question.
mean, you're filibustering. You're filibustering. You're filibustering because you know you're incorrect. You directly said
you're the one asking the same
please
question
stop
over and over, and I
interrupting. I'll at
answered
least
it.
tell the audience if you're going
That's
to be
not what I
bad faith and
argued.
pretend. You specifically said that one of the
Yeah, I
reasons
didn't
this
argue
benefits the economy was when we allow these poor people to have this access
Policies
to
that
food.
benefit the
They
economy.
spend.
Let's do those things.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing that you feel the need to interrupt. Everyone could go back and see this.
I think
what do you think that people aren't going to go back and see
Yeah.
this? You think that they're not
I think we
capable
need
of
to
it?
fund more short buses.
We need to go through the Q&A. I do have to say, I do want to request again. I've requested several times, I think, that we don't do the rebuttals just because
I should have time-stamped it too, because there's one part where Amender tried to flex and he was like, yeah, look how buff I am. I go to the gym. You know, he was like trying to flex on Rob, like insinuate that, oh, look at you, you're a fatty. Meanwhile, look at me, I go to the gym. And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work with 1stAmender. Like, he can't get away with doing that stuff. He's just not that persona, you know? He's not this cool persona. It's like, yeah, look at me, I go to the gym. You can't be a lefty lib and have like, I'm a gym bro too. It just doesn't work. It's just clashing, you know?
A lot of people want their questions read and they're waiting and we want to get through them. So this one from Red Oggenit says, Rob's argument is about how we shouldn't be forced to subsidize people's poor decisions. 1stAmender.
Yeah. And so if it showed efficacy, I'd be okay with that. However, it doesn't bear in the data when we do that thing.
This one from Anthony AJC Salea says, making fat jokes, 1stAmender just proves people in the United States need less food. Good argument, dude. Pseudonym
people
says,
sorry, go ahead.
1stAmender won this. If you really want to respond, you can, but I'll give you a chance to respond. They're basically,
no, go ahead.
They say 1stAmender won this debate for sure. I'm not usually on his side, but born Americans need a chance, even when born poor. Rob, forget about the American dream.
I don't know what to say other than the person must not have been watching the debate. No one said that people that are starving aren't entitled to food. What we said specifically was that the amount of people that are able-bodied that are getting this are inaccurate. The way that this money comes and people that are non-citizens shouldn't be getting it. And most importantly, what we spent the majority of the debate was that we could significantly reform by allowing nutritional things that are necessary for someone to live a healthy lifestyle and have food to get those, as opposed to things like junk food and sugary beverages.
This one from Wilson Garcia says 250 is the amount of SNAP. PT Reed says sugar from soda is highly addictive. Sugar is in no way a productive food item unless you had a medical condition or a very high level athlete. FA clueless again.
I agree. It is not effective. And if there is a method to removing it and that it's efficacious, sure. But it turns out that it just increases administrative cost, and it also doesn't actually do the effect that people will make bad choices regardless of whether or not there's funding to do so.
Do you think that people would make that bad choice if they were starving to death?
This is a rebuttal question. I don't want to do these.
Okay.
All right, so we got that. So I should have timestamped that, man. My bad. Let's see. Okay, well, it looks like he's spurging out here. Maybe they're going back and forth. Let's see.
That's arguing that.
This one
It's
from,
not. That's nowhere.
You
near
wanted
what
to
I
remove soda.
this one from
You're
Roger.
literally
I-
arguing that.
If I will respond very quickly. The misnomer.
Dude, what's with that laugh? Like, who laughs like that? Like, no wonder this guy got picked on nonstop when he was a kid. I don't know that for sure, but I'm willing to bet money on it that he did. How could someone like laugh like so obnoxiously and condescendingly and not get a swirly or a wedgie or a freaking Indian burn or some shit?
It's clear that
Pink
he's
belly.
potentially obtuse or he's too dumb to have this conversation. I'll once
Yeah.
more repeat what I'm saying is that they are not entitled to it to take money from people through force and then force us to buy amenities like soda. He says that the studies show this wouldn't work. This proves one of two things. Either one, they don't need as much SNAP as they're getting because they have extra money that they will then use for an amenity like soda. And so we shouldn't have to subsidize them for food. Or second, that they would make healthier choices because now they would make sure that they're getting actual staples that would make them healthier. He can't have it both ways. This has nothing to do with shaming. It's either saving money or it's having
You have
people
to go to
become
the next
healthier. It's
one.
one or the other.
Rachel Wilson says attacking Rob's weight is an actual ad hom for all you goofs who don't know what it means. Address his arguments or shut it. Roger or Lord Farquaad echoed. He said you're body shaming Rob. Zodiac says I
Doesn't
think
bother me.
1stAmender gave me Down syndrome. Okay. Java
I thought 1stAmender gave you Down syndrome. I thought this was Rachel's tweet. Rachel did a super chat that completely like eviscerated 1stAmender in text form. Andrew Wilson and Rachel aren't kidding when they say, like, when Andrew says that Rachel is that Andrew is actually the nice one and Rachel's the mean one. He's not kidding. Like, I hope I get to that.
Crow says liberals have one trick. They make their argument the title of whatever study they use, parentheses, that they don't read. They're like 12-year-olds with Pokemon cards.
Rickademic, you called in the Martes show last night and destroyed them on Undertaking. Yeah, I'm pressing exit down on that, but if we have time, I'll check that out. I watched already a little bit of Martes debate earlier or stream earlier, but we'll see.
It's true. He has no idea. Like, even when I walk him through,
you have to ignore all studies in order to get your ideology to work. So I think I'm winning here.
This one, you want to respond to that?
I actually cited data and I understand the data. I walk him through why what he's saying contradicts itself, and he just continues to repeat the same thing. No, it wouldn't work.
This
Stupid.
one from Leo Whitmer says 0-calorie sugarless diet soda is also bought on Snap. How is that different from something like a cigarette or alcohol?
Because of the lack of negative market externalities.
Cigarette. What's
This
the
one,
negative market externality?
I do have to keep the
Cancer.
I do have to keep the responses
Diet soda causes it too.
to a minimum.
It does not.
Rachel Wilson says Rob has a wife and a child.
here it
If
is.
1stAmender wants to try to flex on Rob, why doesn't he have a wife or kid? No takers. He has negative charisma. Rob has no such problem.
I mean, I like my independence. I don't know what to tell you.
Of course he does. Yeah, look at Rob laughing.
Irritable.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. See, this is the difference here. Like, listen, Rob here is a family man. He has a wife that loves him, a kid that loves him. And 1stAmender here is just a lonely, 30-something-year-old man by himself. No one that looks forward to seeing him, no responsibilities nor duties. He's just wandering through life till he dies with no purpose whatsoever. And so, this is Cope when he goes, "Why I like my independence?" And it's like, yeah, okay. Well, you have fun with your independence.
Says I tune in to see Rob volunteering to help special needs twinks.
Tweets.
Sorry. All right. Learn.
That's all
to
right.
debate.
I took the insults. Go ahead. Leave 1stAmender here. He looks real
Rob,
happy there.
They said, learn how to debate. Rob, you are so nice. 1stAmender, any response?
I love it when James goes to read a super chat that's insulting one person and he's like, okay, I can't read that. Like, I think those are my faves.
Yeah, like the dick in my mouth. That's so nice.
Yes,
man.
after
If only
you
could
after
be
you made
friendlier.
after you made ad hom several
If only
times,
I could
made
just
that comment.
ignore these studies and just walk away and just
You don't
keep watching Fox News or whatever dumb podcast that you listen to because, like, I don't know, government bad.
Okay, this one from Cabin Planet. Can 1stAmender explain what he means when he says, quote, they deserve it?
Yeah, I believe that people should have be able to eat in the wealthiest country on planet Earth. We have people in prison that have 3 hots and a cot, entirely paid off of taxpayer expense, and I don't think that that should be different for people who are poor.
Basil
Do they
problem.
deserve soda?
Sure, why not? I don't care.
There you have it.
Make bad decisions.
Basil.
I don't care.
Basil problem says Rob Noerr, come on, pledge today that you'll run the New York City Marathon in 2026. Let's see you on Strava. I don't know what Strava is. If you want to respond, you can. You don't have to. Galactic Coordinate Contradiction says, how are you so skinny and still have a double chin? At least Rob earned his. Braino Wife 1 says, God bless Rob. Pable 73 says, I bet more than half of the chat are anti-vaxxers or climate. Oh, that's right. We don't say that word. We say anti-serum or climate change deniers. Ha ha ha. Oh my gosh.
Like Bill Gates, climate change.
Subscribe to my
right?
channel if you want to be insanity world.
This one
Thank
from
you very much, Mr. Constantino. The Amender Flex timestamp is 1 hour and 44. Thank you very much, man. All right, or 1 hour and 44. Let me see here. All right. Let's see. Let's see him. Let's see him. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dude. What is this? This dude thinks he's freaking on a freaking FaceTime call with one of his male suitors.
The federal government, by intentionally allowing people to lie about work requirements, and
I'm not aware if the state government is doing that, or even if they're doing so legally. But defunding it is not a
Hold on
not
your
one second. I
response
do
to
wanna-
that your response to that accusation was, but the gig economy. And I'm saying those don't have anything to do with each other.
The gig economy doesn't actually address.
Doesn't have anything.
It doesn't address what's going on regarding people's poor socioeconomic conditions.
I do want to move.
Nor
to the
does it
next one.
address.
And you're wanting to defund it further.
We do have to move on. This one from Basil
Classic
problem.
Republican tactics where they go and they say,
This one from
"Oh, it's
Dog
not-
Meat says, both.
Classic
Is being
Republican
obese considered
tactics.
fraud to you? How do you need food if you're packing 6 months of 6 months worth in fat on your body?
I don't know. Ask him. I have no experience in this.
What's your BMI?
My BMI, I don't know. It's pretty low.
Pretty low? You
Yeah, it's
considered
like
not
normal.
overweight to any degree whatsoever?
That's correct. Look,
Don't. No,
Oh,
please
wow.
stop.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at
This
that.
is okay.
Yeah.
Dude, look at those little string bean arms. Look at him all. He lifted up his sleeve too, trying to flex. Dude, I like how James is like, no, bro, stop.
Look
This
at that.
has gone too
Oh,
far.
dude. I like, stop.
Stop.
Yeah,
Oftentimes
no,
people
stop. Dude, I like how he shows up his non-abs. Just freaking flat, just no abs. Dude. Good to see you, Suzanne. Yeah, oh my gosh, I hate this idiot. Yeah, exactly. He is an idiot. I bet Amender is less than $1. Yeah, probably. Like what, $1.50 soaking wet. But does he have nunchuck skills? I know. Probably does. He had abs, though. Not really. Look, I'm not going to sit here and evaluate 1stAmender's abs. That's probably the last thing I would want to do right now with my time. But no, I did not see. There was like a 1-pack, if anything, not a full 6-pack.
Could
Turn
be
your
technically.
camera off.
Oftentimes, people could be technically overweight that look healthy. They could still be above the.
I'm not.
Oh yeah, listen. I'm not saying he's like out of shape or something. Yeah, he's a thin guy. But he's flexing here like he's fucking Arnold. Oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm in good shape. Oh. It's like, dude.
Right.
The point is, like, your cheap jabs aside, which mean nothing to me. I would worry less about my physical
You
health.
should
and
answer
more
the
about
question
your-
though.
I
Instead
am
of
answering
be
the
focused
question.
on me.
I am answering the question. I'm answering your ad hom attacks that you've made the entire time. Instead of focus on my health, perhaps you should focus on your ability to debate, because you do such a poor job of it. You were
I
lamenting
gave multiple
before we.
metrics. You
Please,
ignored
I'll
all of
finish
them.
my point.
You just say I don't
please,
believe it
Hold
and
on
then
one
move
please.
forward.
sec.
Please, as you were now that you want to make ad
Tatatuma.
hom attacks the whole time, you were lamenting before you came on that you can't afford to go to DebateCon because your channel is so low watched. And I understand from your performance today why so few people tune into you. So I totally understand that. Perhaps before you issue sort of proclamations and jokes about other people, you should focus on your own life and the shortcomings that you have within it.
I do
Nonetheless, I
just
would
fine.
not consider being overweight
I
to be a fraud.
don't
I would not
tell
consider
the poor to not drink sodas when you yourself probably drink sodas. So
I
just tell him to drink semen, and that's free. I drink it straight from the tap.
do not tell
FYI.
the poor not to drink sodas. I told the poor that I shouldn't have to pay for them to drink sodas.
Yeah,
The fact
got
that
it.
you're incapable of understanding that shows why so many people
Yeah, but it
choose
doesn't
to not
actually
watch your
have
show.
any efficacy.
We
That's
must
the
go to the
problem.
next
You didn't
one.
What are
address
you
that.
talking about?
Okay.
No
It
It
wonder
doesn't
people
don't
have
go to
watch
the
any
you.
next one.
efficacy. People do make poor decisions
Gentlemen,
if they have an underlying desire of making poor
go to the next
decisions.
one.
And they don't need our money.
This
You know,
one
kind of
from
like it's ridiculous.
Basil Problem says, Rob, how much time? Okay, this is the guy that you got to be careful. He says, how much time do you spend training in zone 2? It's like the cardio zone 2, I think he means.
Mm.
This one, if you want to respond, you can. You don't have to. This is a nasty guy. He's going to start talking about your body soon. He does that to all our guests. He says, if you
Well,
had
the
been
first amender.
When Jake rated trolled him, yeah, that probably was his highest live viewership. He's like, wow. It's so sad for 1stAmender's channel. I was talking about this the other day during his debate with Marte, that this guy, the lefty grift is like probably the easiest grift ever, because all the lefties are like morons, right? They're all morons. They buy anything. All you got to do is just say, yeah, Orange Man bad, Republicans evil. And that's it. There you go. Oh yeah, open borders. Yeah, I love my open borders, you know? He seems to have all the right opinions, but yet his viewership is so low. And when I debated him, he has the video up on his channel now. Most of the comments agreed with me. He had 6 comments on that video. 5 of them agreed with me. And one of them, the one that agreed with him, wasn't even agreeing with him. It was just like, oh, hey, it was just like complimenting him on something else. Unrelated. That's how sad it is. He can't even do lefty right. He can't even do lefty right.
I've been hyper focused on my body.
He says,
Perhaps some wishful thinking on you guys' part.
he says, if you had been
You made him say Lord Jake. That's great.
elected
Well,
to
yeah, he's all about respecting the pronouns. You had to make him respect the pronouns.
Congress in 2019, would you have voted to release the
going
Epstein
red eye.
files, Rob?
Yes.
This one from Basil says, Rob, please tell us what health habits you are following to mitigate your risk of adult onset diabetes.
I am regularly exercising. I've started to eat, trying to take carbohydrates out of my diet, but I don't do the best job. What does any of this have to do? There's a fundamental misunderstanding. Well, it's not a misunderstanding. It's intentional obtuseness from 1stAmender and the people that are watching. No one's saying that people should be forced to make healthy decisions. We are saying,
See how it keeps going, like it keeps going in this circular argument. And even Rob acknowledged in his stream after the debate that, yeah, like the conversation wasn't moving forward because 1stAmender keeps on insisting, and he does this all the time. He keeps insisting this one point, and it doesn't matter how many times the other person refutes it or explains himself. He keeps insisting, Rob is trying to tell poor people what to eat. That's not what Rob's doing. He's just saying it shouldn't be taxpayer funded. That's it. Does it get any more simpler? I don't know if I have to draw like little 5-year-old diagrams in order for him to understand it, but like he keeps insisting that Rob is just trying to tell poor people what to eat, and that's not what's going on.
that the government should not take your tax dollars to buy unhealthy product amenities for people.
This one from
Simple concept. It's
Do as they
difficult.
say,
for
not as they do.
understand.
Am I right?
No. Are you okay? If I
See,
was
that's
doing
his
as I say,
go-to.
not as I do, I'd say 1stAmender,
That's what
send me
you're
money
doing.
for soda. Send me
Okay.
money.
Oh
for
yeah,
soda.
Do you
this.
want donuts?
Yeah.
one from-
Don't-
Oh yeah. Look at that smug smile. 1stAmender's the worst. Anyway, yeah, this is where he sends Rob a super chat thinking, yeah, I'm going to own this chud. Sends Rob $10, and he actually does it. I was in Rob's chat. You could see the $10 come through. So now owning the chuds is sending them money. Hey, 1stAmender, hey, look, you know what will really show me? Send me $100. That will really own me. I will be so humiliated and embarrassed. I'm like, oh no, not $100. Come on, 1stAmender. If you see this video when I upload it, send me $100 super thanks. You're really gonna embarrass me. I'm really not gonna like it. I'm like, no, not $100. No, please.
I chat. Give me a super chat.
Big League Drew says Diet Coke is better than Coke. Change my mind. Basil Problem says, Rob, do you buy pool health insurance? I don't know why he's so obsessed with
Yeah, I was in. I wasn't the whole time, but I was there like maybe majority of it in Rob's chat. I wasn't really. I was like doing other things, so I wasn't chatting the whole time, but I was there.
Your health insurance. If you do, why should Why should I subsidize your obesity?
That's not answering.
This one from Airborne Animal says, notice that 1stAmender focused only on children and not adults on food stamps. Could it be that he is cherry picking the data? I think so. 1stAmender, like all leftists, cannot control himself.
Hold on, I'm getting him some money for soda.
See, he's sending him money.
Thanks,
$10,
I
by the way.
appreciate it. I'm sure the less than, what, 20, 30 people that watch you regularly? How much, by the way, how much you making in donos there with your job? What was your job? System analysis. That's your job?
I'm a systems
systems
administrator.
administrator.
Yes.
Excellent.
Emperor Fat Ass Dog says Trump has lifted over 600,000 Americans off food stamps, and 1.9 million more Americans are employed today than when he took office. Sounds like MAGA isn't such a bad thing, 1stAmender.
Wait, I'm sorry. Repeat that. I was focused on donating to. Rob.
He really donated. Do I want to do a mock debate to prepare for Monday? I don't know if I'll have time, to be honest. I don't know if I have time. Like right now or something. Yeah, I don't know if I'll have time. I don't. But that'll be a good idea. I do need it to be challenged. You know what? Fuck it. Maybe in a little bit I'll do a mock debate. Fuck it.
Noerr.
They said, first offender, Trump has lifted over 600,000. For the record, he doesn't have a record, any illegal stuff that we know of. He says, Trump has lifted over 600,000 Americans.
The only thing with doing a mock debate on air is that I don't want the opponents to see this at all, tune in and be like, oh, that's going to be the arguments, huh? That's the only thing. Me and Wi-Fi were going back and forth, and we're like, testing each other and stuff. So we kind of got a lot of stuff covered.
Off food stamps, and 1.9 million more Americans are employed today than when he took office. Sounds like MAGA isn't such a bad thing.
I'm sorry, one more time. I'm just laughing really hard because everybody is responding to the donation I just gave in his chat. Sorry.
This one from Chef Dylan says, first offender, if there is, disclaimer, he's not known for having offended anybody. If there is a...
Yeah, no, that'll be a good idea, Benjamin. If we have time, then maybe we could do something in the Discord. We'll see. I'll let you know. But that would be a good idea. I just don't want to do it like publicly. But privately, that's not a bad idea.
Net boon for the economy from Snap. Why isn't anyone pushing for simply printing 1 trillion and putting it into Snap? We'd be able to...
You're very lefty with your views, news, and views, truth. All right. That's good to know. In the communities that you're in. Okay. That's very good to know. Join the Discord. Join the Discord. The link is in the description, and maybe we could set something up there.
Eliminate federal debt.
Because of inflation. Inflation is bad. We don't want too much inflation.
Think of how much the GDP would increase.
So look at academics. GDP. Work academics spurging out in the chat saying, dang, I got time to watch the debate. Send me the timestamp, and after I'm done with this, then I will watch it, and then we'll see. We'll see the L that they took. Oh no, we're watching 1stAmender. He's so gay. Yeah. I've been making Vic videos in the Discord. Oh, is that you? Is that you? What Will I am? Will Wall. Will Wall is your name. Is that you? Okay. All right. Good to know, Will Wall. Good to know. Sorry, it's just I hear your news, views, and truth, and then the Discord, you're Will Wall.
Does not increase by having that much inflation.
Oh, so I just
it actually causes a net negative because your argument, have too much inflation.
I'm sorry, your argument. No, wait, your argument is inflation doesn't increase GDP. That's exactly opposite. Actually, inflation does increase.
So this is the whole debate. Okay, I think you guys get the picture. Now let's see the glorious Cope stream. Let's see the Cope stream afterward, okay? So, again, maximum Cope with Max the Atheist. That's not even his freaking name. I just call him Max the Atheist. So Max the Atheist over here hosts his so after these debates, as we all know, I've covered it before, Max comes on and he hosts the COPE streams after the COPE talks. I call it Maximum COPE with Max the Atheist. If he were cool, he would call it that, but he's not cool, so he doesn't. So anyway, let's see 1stAmender cope after his loss to 1stAmender. I mean, his loss to Rob Noerr. Sorry, guys.
Saying there should be reform.
Wine is hitting me.
Reforms meant that you thought it was bad, but was there like a lack of clarity between the two of you on the topic, or did he hyper focus? You feel like, or how,
Yeah.
why did that sort of happen?
Okay, so with modern day debate, it becomes I have become painfully aware that the questions are often like open-ended questions, which can be interpreted all sorts of different ways. This is to help with engage in dialogue in the question itself. For example, when, you know, one of the questions could be, are trans women women, for example? And it's like, okay, well, do you mean by sex or gender? Do you acknowledge the difference between sex and gender? It's like, there's all sorts of different things that open up by leaving it open. But I agree with you. Like, the question is vague. And as a result, like, what does it mean for it to be a significant change? Does like not wanting sodas?
I know, right? It's like which voice is more annoying, 1stAmender or Max's, right? So yeah, look, he has his hair on the wrong side of your head. It's supposed to be on the top of your head, bro, not the bottom. By the way, I want to remind everybody, Max's background here is a green screen. That's not his actual room.
Is that a significant change? That's probably like a single line item that could be addressed for like wanting to deny sodas. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think getting rid of, not allowing sodas is that much different, right?
No,
I mean, goodness gracious. You're like, keep the program mostly the same, except you restrict some of the foods. Whether that's a good idea or not, I mean, I guess you guys could argue about that, but so a lot of times more bureaucracy is just worse. So maybe it's not even worth restricting them. But
yeah.
I didn't feel like that was very significant, and I didn't get to see the whole thing. But when he kind of argued that at the beginning, I was like, "What happened here?" They didn't get into the open discussion at all without it sort of derailing into arguing over, arguing over what they were arguing about.
I mean, the biggest thing that just blows my mind is like, it very much is a do as I say, not as I do. Like, it's very clear to me this guy definitely enjoys soda, and he's telling poor people, you're not allowed to buy soda because you're on the dole and I'm not on the dole and I'm more deserving than you. But let's like honestly just realize that he likely has some socioeconomic advantages that are not typically enjoyed by other.
So this is where it's all coming from too. So he's sticking with this point again. No matter how many times Rob explained to him, I don't give a shit what poor people eat. It's just, should it be tax payer funded? That's all he gives about. But then 1stAmender here still going with the narrative that no, actually it's because it's a do as I say, not as I do type of deal. So I don't, again, it's like we don't know. We don't know. Is 1stAmender doing this purposely, or is he really that stupid? Rob was actually wondering that on his own stream last night. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if 1stAmender is stupid or if he's just being disingenuous. It's hard to tell sometimes with these people. By the way, I forgot to play in the debate. Rob Noerr actually asked 1stAmender, how would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning? And 1stAmender answered, but I did have breakfast this morning. So yeah, there you go. It's hard to tell. Is he stupid or disingenuous?
People. I mean, my family, we both came, my mom and dad came from Chile. We did not have like a long familial line in the United States where like houses were owned and enjoyed. It just was like, hey, they kind of have to build up from scratch. And so
one thing also that I noticed too, a lot of the people that are arguing, like that are lefties or people from like out of this country that aren't like born here, you know? Like you got 1stAmender, he's from Chile, right? He's from Chile. And you got Not So Erudite, who's like Canadian. And I think like Radical Coder's Canadian. You got this Max guy here. He doesn't even live here. He's from fucking Uruguay. And you got like Fatty, who's in fucking Brazil, I think. And then you got like Cenk Uygur, who's I think he's from Turkey. Like you got all these people that are arguing these lefties and are not from here. And then it's like you're wondering, like, well, gee, maybe it's not such a bad idea to be so xenophobic, you know? Like maybe I kind of understand the whole. I'm not even a white person, but I'm kind of like starting to understand like why someone might want a white nationalist fucking country. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying I could get why. Because you have all these people that are come from these other countries, and it's like they just demand all this shit. It's almost as if they come here just to demand free shit. And I'm also not saying that everyone that's from other countries don't respect this country or whatever. A lot of people do. A lot of people specifically who come here legally and become legal citizens and stuff like that really respect this country. But there's a lot of them that don't. And it's almost as like I kind of get it a little bit.
My parents didn't even know to put away, say, for example, money for college.
I'm pretty white, you're claiming me. Yeah, listen, I've heard that all my life. I heard that all my life. Might as well just embrace it, right?
You know, and it's very difficult.
But, you know, good to know. Good to know that if the white supremacy thing ever comes to fruition, I'm safe. And you know what? Fine. Because I love this country.
To like try to show people like, hey, you know, just because they're poor doesn't mean, oh, you're not allowed to have soda because it's a bad decision, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
so I actually wouldn't be that opposed to like banning alcohol in the United States if it worked, but it doesn't work. We can't
Yes.
actually, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly,
I'm for it, but
exactly.
we can't get. I'm fine with banning cigarettes in the United States, but we can't get
Yes.
away with it. But
Yeah.
so do you want to ban soda? I guess sure. I probably should quit drinking it too. But
Yeah.
you're not going to get away with it. So, and I'm guessing
You're not going to get away with it. Again, no one's trying to ban soda. No one's trying to ban soda. And I think I didn't listen to all of this COPE stream,
that program.
but I tuned in like intermittently, like throughout the night. And every time I'd go back, they would be talking about the soda. It's like no one's talking about banning soda.
It's gonna be a royal pain in the butt. And is it worth fighting
Yeah,
over?
and did you know I can make my own soda? Check this out, right? Get this, right? I actually have like a thing. It's not a
I have a thing that makes soda.
soda stream, but it's like a 5-pound tank of CO2 with like a regulator and a hose attached to it.
Yeah, it's called a post mix.
A what?
A post mix machine.
No, well, I made it. Yeah, I mean, I made it myself, and I bought some soda concentrate, and I just add a little bit to the soda water, and then boom, I got soda. It's like, okay, is that covered under SNAP? Like, what is?
Well, almost all
How does this work?
juice, almost like juice. If you like get like juice or lemonade or whatever, just as much sugar. You know what I mean? Like if you look at grape juice, apple juice. I mean, most of it's just
It's different
ton of
sugar though. It's different sugar though.
they add sugar to it. It's not good for you. Most of it.
not.
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
you can always buy oranges and squeeze your own.
Oh,
juice.
that's different. That's totally different. But if you talk about grabbing Welch's grape juice off the shelf,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just a sugar fest.
So this is like pretty much the COPE stream. Like every time I would leave, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I'll leave, listen to something else, or do something. I'll come back to it. And they would be talking about the fucking soda. Like 1stAmender's really, yeah. Someone said that in the chat. Like they're really beating the crap out of a straw man. Like they're beating the shit out of this straw man that no one's saying. No one's saying ban soda. No one's arguing that. And no matter how many times Rob explains this to first rear ender over here, he doesn't understand.
And by the way, for those who are just joining in on my end, I'm still streaming, by the way. If you like what I have to say, or maybe you're
How dare you, Liu Kang? That has to be probably the worst one yet. I have gotten Jack Black. I have gotten Post Malone. But Ethan Klein probably has to be the worst yet. How dare you, Liu Kang? How dare you? Your soul is mine.
Just here to hate watch me and you want to see more of this, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm a very, very small YouTuber. So any amount of subscribers is fabulous. It's incredible. I mean, we're on the road to 1,000 subs. We are getting close. I think you're gonna beat me to it, Max.
Of
And
course.
I'm so jealous.
No
of
doubt.
that, bastard.
I mean, what I you know,
You rat bastard.
you just do
Like
you
if
just
Ethan Klein, so bad enough, Ethan Klein and Jelly Roll had a baby. Listen, guys, look, all right? Listen. Can you guys stop? Please.
do debate. We do like a wide range of content here. So
Okay, yeah.
it's kind I think that's kind of the
I
thing.
do
And
video games. I play video games and
the
shit.
flat earth the flat earth thing really
I'd love
like,
to
people
get
love
into the.
that.
I'd love to get
Oh
into the flat
no,
earth thing.
you're late. It's gone.
Yeah, I know.
It died.
What was it? The
like, in
final
December.
experiment, and that was
Yeah.
it. Just completely killed it. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
killed it.
awesome.
Now all we can do is just they
Yeah.
won't even debate anymore. All we can do is just watch their videos and laugh at the morons. That's
Yeah.
it. And there's only like splinter groups of
Yeah.
flat earthers just fighting each other.
So,
Yada, yada,
speaking of which, I'm actually gonna make a soda right now. So continue talking. I'm gonna make this soda. I'll be right back. Give me a moment.
All right. For you that you were asking, base of 1/n squared.
I would be offended by this, but I don't even know who Pops from Djibouti Dubs is. So I guess I'll give you that one. Cool. Looks like your lovely Italian neighbor who brings you salami every month. Okay, I'll take that. Thank you very much, Mrs. D.
Says, here's one thing. You definitely did better than me in my last debate. Oh, isn't that cute?
Thank you.
So Amender's opening, I think it was I understand what you try to do, that you try to get past the semantics of the prompt, but I think it gave Rob the opportunity to just call victory in the first 5 minutes, and
Oh, yeah.
might have been a misstep. I wouldn't have gone that route.
Even his fellow lefties are telling him, yes, you fucked up big time. You fucked up big time. I would not have gone that route, 1stAmender. What are you doing?
But I still understand what you did. What do you think, Dr. J?
I thought that it was a misstep. I agree, but kind of like that's why I thought there was just kind of like a misunderstanding. I assume if 1stAmender thought that what he was going to do was mean Rob going, "Oh, look, you think there should be changes? I win." I assume 1stAmender would have gone another direction, or wouldn't have taken the debate, or whatever, right? So I did see a lot of positives. I thought he was well prepared. You know, he had done some research. So I thought it was interesting. Frankly, I don't know a ton about I mean, I kind of know what Snap is, but I'm no expert on it. So I thought 1stAmender's presentation on it was pretty helpful. And
so yeah, they have to cope. They have to see, because 1stAmender pretty clearly lost. I mean, even his fellow lefties over here, you know, they're like, that wouldn't have been my best strategy. I would have done something different, you know. But you know, I see what you're going with, 1stAmender. So you know, props to you. There you go. Props to you from You're Gay. Yeah, but that was the debate between Rob Noerr and 1stAmender. 1stAmender has never won a single debate, and there's just something about the dude that is going to prevent him from getting subs and views and fans. Excuse me. Like I said, the lefty grift is probably the easiest grift you could do, and he can't even do that right. How bad do you have to be that you can't even lefty grift properly? But what did you guys think about that? Sound off in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed that. Also, subscribe to Rob Noerr's channel too. I'll have a link in the description down below. And also, I have a link to the full debate down below for modern day debates in the description as well.